After a long wait, S1GP welcomes you back for a shortened 2020 campaign. All 3 rounds of this year's FIM Supermoto World Championship will be held in Italy, first visiting the Motodromo Castelletto di Branduzzo for the GP of Lombardia. This 2.6-kilometre circuit has a superb mix of both tight and open tarmac sections, a claustrophobic jump-heavy middle sector, and a challenging dirt arena to close the lap. A tricky course awaiting the riders then, and potentially some challenging conditions as well. Let's take a closer look with 2 competitors who'll be leading the charge this weekend, Germany's Mark Rainer Schmidt and Austria's Lukas Hollbacher.
You can see here the start and finish line, and it's a long straight with a long left corner where you're braking really hard and really long into the left one. In a fast lap where you are alone, you can go really outside, like really open the corner to take the speed into the next straight. But in the race it's difficult because it's easy to overtake you if you stay too far outside. So you have to go a little bit more on the inside, closing, and then look to get not overtaken by other riders. Here the left one is really close. You have to stay next to the curb and push the bike hard as possible out, because the straight is long, you need speed, and it's possible to go a little bit over the red-white curbs, so you can take more speed because you have more space, and it's good for the speed.
Here in the off-road section in Castelletto, it's a really difficult part because it's just open for the race days. So all the riders can practice and test the bikes and the stuff only on the asphalt, and now we stay here in the off-road. We have really difficult conditions, you see it. We have just a little bit mud. Yesterday we have a lot of rain sometimes, and also the sun comes out, so we change between the rain tires and the slicks. So also compare, you see now you have a lot of grip here, and you can change the lines, and a lot of things you can improve here in the off-road. It's really tricky with the ground, with the stones. Also during the race you have like 20 minutes, and the lines change every time. So for the 2 little jumps you can make a lot of things. You can push down the bike to stay with the wheels on the ground. Another thing is you make like a wheel tap, so you go here up in the first jump, you put up the front wheel and you let it down just behind the second jump. So for the race you can change the lines every time. If you go outside you have maybe in the first laps more grip, but then broken between the 2 jumps you have some big holes and big stones who come out. So you have to change nearly every 2-3 laps, then you come more inside. You have the clean track here without the bumps. See you soon on the race.
Of course, there's only so much you can learn from a track walk. So let's take a hot lap around Motodromo Castelletto di Branduzzo with Schmidt and Hollbacher. Off the line for a short run down the straight then, before turning and braking to square the first left-hander, an excellent overtaking spot. Fire the bikes across the outside curb for a good fast run to the first 180-degree bend, a right-hander, out of the right 180 and almost straight into the left 180. We're going to see plenty of riders going side by side here in the races. Under the bridge, through a fast right-hander and onto a 90-degree right following that. Another brilliant place for an overtake, as we see there from Schmidt, who we're on board with. These backed corners then, something of a mini oval for the riders, it must be said, as they go through the second corner now. They then have to be heavy on the brakes to go into this tricky undulating section. Managing speed and your racing line is critical here. With such a narrow piece of track, the slightest error can cost you time, position, or even a chance to finish the race. But there are some nice overtaking options dotted throughout the compact section, as we see there, over the last jump in just a moment. And you'll see a brief switch to concrete just coming up now, over another jump, then onto the concrete and rejoining the main circuit. The speed picks up once more then with a fast right followed by a hairpin left. Onto the back straight now. It's a very fast section, albeit interrupted by a tricky little chicane. Out of the chicane and then almost immediately sharply slowing down as we peel off onto the dirt. brushing past the trees as you build up speed and get ready for a fairly open and wide left-hander. Could see a couple of overtaking moves here during the weekend. A couple of quick jumps and then a fairly slow left-hand bend again as they pass the paddock. Onwards now to a low-grip hairpin before going back onto the tarmac, and this section could prove very tricky if the conditions stay as they are currently. Back onto the tarmac for the last couple of right-hand corners. Could this be another overtaking opportunity this weekend? Out of the last turn and across the line, they won't have time for showboating later on. The 2020 season was of course delayed by the global pandemic, and extra safety measures were in place to ensure the health of everyone in the paddock. Let's hear more from series promoter XIEM's CEO Danilo Docodolce. Danilo saying, "We have managed to start the championship despite the COVID emergency. It was not easy, but the choice of making a short championship and having 3 GPs in Italy to avoid moving between the various countries proved to be the right solution." Obviously, we want to thank in particular the sponsors who have renewed their trust in us, the FIM and FIM Europe, and the organisers for their availability. The teams and their riders who are the real stars of the championship. An important novelty this year is the brevity of the championship. That is, that it will play out across only 3 GPs. Thanks to the availability of the International Federation, each race will be played out over 3 heats, 1 held on Saturday and 2 on Sunday, for a total of 9 races in the season. We are ready to present the new season of 2021, and we all hope to be able to return to normal soon. Our first grid of the year then, and it is Mark Reiner Schmidt on the pole position. Mauno Hermanen, Thomas Charret, Nicolas Kozan on the front row with him. Holbacher starting from 5th ahead of Saint-Martin, Lacour and Bussi. Sitniansky and Bunot rounding out the top 10 as we get ready for our first race of the year. Off the line, on board with Kozan then. Who's going to get the whole shot into the corner? Looks like it's Schmidt, and it is. Charret on the inside, and I think he might be pushing the Finn Hermanen off the circuit a little bit. Hermanen getting pushed out by quite a few different bikes there. He ends up on the grass as everyone jostling for position in the early going. But no question over the front of the order. Mark Reiner Schmidt it is, ahead of Thomas Charret. These two long-time rivals once again find themselves at the head of the order in an S1 race. And this could go either way. Reiner Schmidt in control early on, at least on the Phoenix Racing Team Honda. Further back in 6th place with Nicolas Kozan. Up the inside, is he going to make it 5th? He does. Great move there for 5th position. So the Frenchman moving up the order on the dirt section at the end of the first lap. And look at the gap already. Reiner Schmidt and Charret riding off into the distance here. Meanwhile, we're again with Nicolas Kozan. He's just on the back of Hermanen through the jump section. Schmidt and Charret, meanwhile, under the bridge on the 3rd lap of the race. Holbacher, there or thereabouts too on the MTR KTM. Can he close in on these two? Charret looking incredibly determined as he follows Reiner Schmidt right in the wheel tracks. Meanwhile, Milan Sitniansky there making a move for 8th place. That's in the mid-pack, and he makes the move stick. Good stuff from Milan Sitniansky. Charret has still not found a way by. Oh, but off has gone Patrick Pals. That's the other TM Factory Racing entry. The teammate, of course, to Thomas Charret. Charret won't be aware of what's happened to his teammate there. Doesn't particularly hinder his race, of course, but proving just how tricky this circuit can be. Charret still right behind Schmidt. And Holbacher looks like he's closing in slightly in 3rd place as well. Could yet be a factor in this race. We're only halfway through. Saint-Martin and Hermanen having a good battle as well. Finnish racer closing on the Italian. Every race a home race for San Martin this year. Can Hermanen find a way through on the dirt? Looks like they're just approaching that tight hairpin, still very treacherous. San Martin on the 32, holding strong in 4th place, but Hermanen applying a lot of pressure. Oh, but that was Charret going past in the lead of the race. Charret has got through, and either Schmidt has made a mistake, or Charret has made a very physical move. Schmidt now under pressure from our 3rd place man Holbacher, and it is Thomas Charret on the TM motorcycle at the head of the order. Hermanen still not finding a way past for 4th place, but Thomas Charret then on lap 6 of the race in that all too familiar position at the head of the order. We saw that Schmidt was under pressure from Holbacher, but it does look as though Holbacher's fallen back from Schmidt. Hermanen is up into 4th, so Hermanen's managed to find a way through on the 131 for Team de Gasoline Motorsport, has moved up into 4th place. Charret comfortably building an advantage. He's firmly in control of this race now. Looks like Holbacher's going to have to settle for P3, but at least he's not under any pressure. A podium on the first race of the day will be welcome as we go on to the penultimate lap of the race. Look at that, the top 3 all fairly spread out. I think the order has been solidified here unless anyone makes a silly error. Thomas Charret, our race leader, through the fast right-hander and into the left-hand hairpin. Not long to go, and indeed onto the last lap now for Charret. Out of the final corner, and Charret sees the first checkered flag of the year, ahead of his German rival Mark Reiner Schmidt. Lukas Holbacher rounding out the podium positions ahead of Hermanen and San Martin, our top 5.
I'm very happy. I start very good. At the first part of the race, I'm in 3rd position. And next, in the second part of the race, Mauno pushed me a lot. And I tried to stay in the front, but passed me. I'm happy for my 5th position. And next, I try tomorrow to another good race.
Sunday morning and 2 more heats for S1GP after Saturday's encounter. There was a positive mood in the paddock with the teams, tyre suppliers Michelin, the series sponsors and partners, and of course the competitors, all delighted to be racing again. Thomas Charret claimed the first win of the weekend. Would anyone be able to challenge the Frenchman in Sunday's pair of heats? Let's find out with a look at race 2. All ready for the second race then. Charret, Hermanen, Schmidt at the front of the order. Who will get the whole shot? They're all off the line, and it looks as though Hermanen's got it. Great start from the Finn. Charret there trying to slide through into second place. He's side by side with Mark Reiner Schmidt in 3rd. Who's going to have second place? There goes Schmidt. He slides through into P2. Holbacher pressuring Charret as well. But the Finn, Hermanen, is in the lead. Mauno Hermanen, how long will he be able to hold that lead? All the answers, not long. Mark Reiner Schmidt halfway around the first lap. The Phoenix Honda is back at the head of the order. Hermanen's holding on to second place though, but Charret is right on his back wheel. Over the curbs they go. Holbacher still in 4th place, and that's Nicolas Cousin, who we now ride on board with. Running in 5th on the second of the Phoenix bikes. Over those jumps in the middle sector. Such a tricky little circuit. Lots of variety across the 2.6 kilometre layout here. Schmidt, Hermanen, Charret still the top 3, but Charret noticeably pressuring Hermanen. And is that a move? Yes, at the 90-degree right-hander, Charret has made it past Hermanen. Mauno Hermanen having to concede down to third place. Michael Vertimati out of the race as well, unfortunately. Lap 3 of the race then, and the battle from the first race has resumed. Holbacher, meanwhile, he's going to need to find a way past Hermanen to try and chase these two, Schmidt and Charret, who are already building a gap. These two, such great rivals, and amazing to have them going head-to-head in the World Championship this year. Holbacher pressuring Hermanen. Hermanen doing a great job holding on to that P3, but Holbacher on the MTR KTM is looking very strong, but no one looking stronger than this Phoenix Racing rider. Mark Reiner Schmidt just controlling it here through the treacherous final hairpin on the dirt. So easy to make an error there. Half distance in the race then, and Charret just holding on to the back of Mark Reiner Schmidt. And through into third has gone Holbacher. Holbacher's made it into P3. Hermanen down to fourth. It was a good start from the Finnish rider, but now he's being demoted through the order. Nicolas Kozan, meanwhile, in P5. Oh no, P6. That's Elias Samartin through into P5. Good move then from the Italian rider. Nicolas Kozan going to have to work to get that place back. Holbacher on the KTM, still running in P3 and actually closing in on Schmidt and Charret. I think Schmidt is controlling the pace here quite nicely, and that's allowing Holbacher, you saw him pushing so hard there. Holbacher is definitely closing in on Charret in second place. One look over the shoulder and Charret is going to be aware of an orange KTM getting ever closer to his exhaust. Charret seemingly responding here with a little bit of pressure being applied, getting a little bit closer to the back end of the German Schmidt, but Holbacher definitely the fastest man out there on circuit. Nicolas Kozan, meanwhile, in that sixth place on the dirt where we've seen he's strong in previous races. Is he going to be able to find a way through? Doesn't appear he is. Holbacher, you saw him still there in third place, onto lap 8 of the 9, and now onto the final lap of the race, and it looks as though the order is going to stay as it is, and indeed, Mark Reiner Schmidt takes the second win of the day. One win apiece then for him and Charret in second. Lucas Holbacher taking the third spot ahead of Hermanen, and Elias Samartin moving through into fifth place again in our second race of the weekend. Look what that does, though, for the overall points. Mark Reiner Schmidt and Thomas Charret tied on 47. Holbacher on 40. 36 for Hermanen, 32 for Samartin. Reiner Schmidt and Charret tied with one race remaining. Final race of the weekend then, it is Reiner Schmidt, Hermanen, Charret and Kozan on the front row of the grid. Holbacher, Samartin, Lacour and Busi on row 2. Sitnianski, Bunot, Vederosa and Vertimati rounding out the 12 bikes. All eyes, though, on Charret and Schmidt. Who's going to have the whole shot as they get underway? It's Charret. Charret into the lead. Let's not forget, Schmidt and Charret tied on points going into this final race. We're on board with Kozan. He's down in 5th position. Got Hermanen ahead of him. Holbacher's into 3rd place, but critically in the lead is Thomas Charret. Whoever takes the win out of Charret and Schmidt, whoever finishes ahead between Charret and Schmidt, will have this event sewn up. It's currently Charret in the lead, Schmidt in 2nd and Holbacher in 3rd place. These three breaking away from the order already as we cross the line to complete the first lap, and Charret's down to 3rd. Charret has dropped 2 places. Thomas Charret has dropped to P3. Schmidt is in the lead, and if Schmidt holds that position, he's going to take the event and the championship lead, of course, heading into our next race. Mark Reiner Schmidt on the Phoenix Honda in the lead. Holbacher in P2. Charret really dropping off the pair as well. Charret seemingly not quite in tune with the track here in our third and final race of the weekend. Holbacher will not care about this championship battle and indeed the battle for the win in the first GP of the year. He just wants to take the win in this third and final race, and he's pressuring Schmidt for all he's worth as they go onto the dirt section. Rainer Schmidt still clear. But look at the pressure there from Holbacher in second. The 72, the MTR KTM, being hustled around this circuit. 2.6 kilometers, one of the trickiest and lengthiest circuits we visit this year. Rainer Schmidt holding on in the lead. Lukas Holbacher, though, applying the pressure halfway through the race here. Will we see the KTM rider make a move? He's looking quicker, it must be said. Schmidt maybe doesn't have to worry too much. If Holbacher gets through, it doesn't do anything to Schmidt's chances of taking the overall victory across the three races. And Charret is far enough back that I don't think Schmidt would worry too much if Holbacher got through. But that's looking at it with maths rather than the rider's eye view. And both of these riders are going to want the race win. Schmidt still with Holbacher right in his wheel tracks, right in his shadow. We're on board with Nicolas Kozan. He's running in 6th place, so another good run. Although he did start on the front row, he's just behind Elias Sammartin, so he's dropped a couple of places since the start. But it's a strong weekend all round for our camera rider. Sammartin leading Kozan, and Sitniansky, who's having a good run in 7th place, holding on to the back of Kozan. Milan Sitniansky's been getting quicker all weekend and is now on the offensive once more. Schmidt and Holbacher still fighting over 1st and 2nd place here. Schmidt going defensive on the dirt. Holbacher on the KTM, really pushing hard. Doesn't look like he can get away through, though. The Phoenix Racing Honda being made as wide as the course itself. Charret maybe closing in slightly on the TM Racing Factory entry. Just possibly closing in on the back of Holbacher, but he's still far enough behind that he's not really a problem for them. Holbacher, though, as they come out of the dirt on lap 7, has taken the lead. Holbacher on the KTM is in the lead. He goes on to lap 8 of 9, and Lukas Holbacher is leading for Team NTR KTM. Schmidt is not going to take that lying down, though. You can see the attacking body language of Schmidt as they head out onto the dirt again. Can Schmidt get a good run? He takes the inside as they exit that first corner, and Schmidt looking to the inside. Is he going to be able to muscle his way through? He does. Holbacher has no choice but to relent. Schmidt there with some really attacking riding, and Mark Rainer Schmidt heads on to the final lap back in the lead. Holbacher held the lead for less than a lap, and he's only got one more lap now to try and find his way past the rider for Phoenix Honda. Mark Rainer Schmidt there with an attacking move, a physical move, but a fair move, and he's taken the win, not just of the race, but of the first round of the championship. Great performance from Mark Rainer Schmidt to take it from Lukas Holbacher and Thomas Charret. Mauno Hermanen taking 4th ahead of Elias Sammartin. Milan Sitniansky got past Nicolas Kozan off camera. Giovanni Busset and Maxime Lecour rounding out the top 9. Confirmation, though, Mark Rainer Schmidt taking the overall results for the Lombardia event at Castelletto di Branduzzo. Charret, Holbacher, Hermanen and Sammartin are top 5 for this round. Celebrations for the Phoenix Racing crew then, a victory in the first round of the season. Thumbs up. A good result too for Austria's Lukas Holbacher and KTM. A well-earned 3rd place for the Team MTR rider. TM Racing Factory and Thomas Charret having to settle for 2nd despite that win in the first heat. And that's because of the man who's about to come onto the podium. A great result and an early championship lead for Phoenix Honda's Mark Rainer Schmidt. He'll be a very happy man. Let's hear from our winner.
Yeah, I'm really happy for today. I come with the Phoenix team here, the first race in Castelletto. The bike set up by L30 Racing. We make a really good job before, and during the season now, it's not so easy for me here. We have different tires than normally, but we make the best result. I have 2 race wins, really good battle with Lucas in the third race. We passed really hard, but it's okay for me and also for him, I think. So I'm just happy for all the peoples behind me, and I can't wait for the second round in Ortona. See you there.
Another look at the championship standings. Rainer Schmidt, Charrer, Holbacher, Hermann and San Martin are top 5. 5 nationalities in the top 5. It promises to be a great year. I've been Adam Weller. Tune in next time at Ortona for more FIM Supermoto World Championship.